Hello, and thank you so much for joining in. To anyone who's new to this channel or this topic, an extra special welcome. You can find out more about it in the link that's in the description below. And so the title of this talk is To Be Connected to God. That is everything. Now, that's a very extravagant claim. You know, it'd be one thing if the title of this talk was To Be Connected to God. That's nice. Or to be connected to God, it's okay. But I've titled it the exact opposite. It is everything. Now, what on earth could that mean? As human beings, it's a little hard for us to fathom to say that something is everything. Because really, there's nothing in our life here on this beautiful earth with, so many beautiful, amazing experiences. There's really no one thing that can be everything for any one of us. As we sometimes thought, oh, that relationship or that job or that house, we sometimes think, oh, that'll be perfection. That'll be everything. But the truth is, of course, that while many of these things are nice, none of them are actually everything. So it's very hard. It's very hard for me when I really sit with this statement to be connected to God. That is everything. It's hard for me, and I don't think I'm alone in this, to really grasp what it would mean for one thing to be everything, for one thing to be just so important. Um, can you imagine if someone gave you a gift, like, someone gave you a gift and that gift completely fulfilled you, answered all your questions, brought you peace. It just literally made things perfect. That's maybe the closest we can on a human level. But of course, there's no gift that can do that. No material gift, anyway. So the person who said that, Bruno Groening, and that's his picture behind me on the wall, that's what he said, to be connected to God, that is everything. And I really sat with that for a long time, trying to understand what he meant by it. And today I'm going to share some of my own experiences of what on earth that could mean. The words aren't complicated, but it's a very profound statement. It's a very profound claim and really a profound promise. So we're going to spend a little time exploring that today. So, how to get connected to God? First of all, before we deal with the everything, how can we get connected to God? Of course, there's many different ways and many beautiful spiritual practices and prayers and traditions and maybe even rituals for getting that feeling of connection with God. And Bruno Groening taught a very simple and I would say universal way of doing that. He called it tuning in or attuning ourselves. It's very simple to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards, back in a relaxed, upright position, not leaning against your chair if possible. And then close your eyes. And then open yourself to the idea of a higher power, a higher energy, a force that's all around us and is available to help. And then have the intention to receive that energy and observe your body, noticing what you feel while having the intention to receive it. So we're going to do this practice together for a couple minutes in silence. I'll come in every now and then and offer reminders. So please observe your body while having the intention to take in healing, life, energy. noticing what you feel, having the intention to receive this energy, welcoming the peaceful quiet, welcoming the energy of peace. So I'm going to talk and read a little, and I invite people to continue to tune in, continue to take this receptive attitude to this energy, to receive it. So, personally, when I do this practice of tuning in, of taking in this energy, I feel absolutely at peace. I mean, sometimes it takes a little time. Sometimes I need to settle down from my day. But at a certain point, I feel utter and complete peace. I feel as if the past is gone, and I feel confident that the future will be fine. I'm in this place of pleasant, pleasurable neutrality. Said another way, I feel whole. Said another way, I feel as if some way, miraculously, I've been lifted above the past. All of us, myself included, we've all had our bumps and scrapes, as they say, here in life. We've all had hardship and heartbreak and challenge. But when I get really connected to the divine, it's as if none of that ever existed. The feeling is as if none of that ever existed. And I just feel whole and complete. So please, that's my experience when I do this practice. What's yours? And you're welcome to share at any time what you're feeling. Feel free to type it in. Anyone who watches this video later, please do share your comments about what this feeling is once we get connected to the divine. So let's sit a little more and reflect on this feeling of wholeness, this feeling of peace. And it comes to many people. I'm not the only one. And when describing this energy, the word Bruno Groening used, he combined two words, heil and strum. Strum means current, like an electric current or flow or wave. Heil, one of the meanings of heil is whole, intact, undamaged. So see if that resonates with you, that when you get really connected to the divine, that you feel whole and intact. Continuing to observe the body. If any fears arise, any thoughts of problem or illness, just hand them over to the divine. So this deep peace, Bruno Groening called it the divine heavenly peace. And I think I understand why. It feels divine, and it does feel like heaven. Like there's no cares, there's no worries. Bruno Groening was adamant that he wouldn't let anyone or anything pull him out of this divine heavenly peace. And he had a very hard life, very challenging life. But in essence, it seems to me that he put his connection with God first. Said another way, he put this divine heavenly peace first. Now, this, let me see how to say this. Seeking to be peaceful, seeking to be connected to God under all circumstances, it's not an easy task. There's no question. Any one of us who have tried can tell. I can tell you that to stay peaceful, no matter what the outer circumstances are, it's not easy. I've definitely made some progress to where things that would upset me don't always upset me, or they upset me less. Now, here's what Bruno Groening spoke of this very fundamental spiritual endeavor to be at peace. He said, only a human being who withstands all temptations in daily life and does not allow himself to be brought out of the divine peace by anything, absolutely anything, can release himself from all attachments, and only then is truly redeemed. So, by redeemed, Bruno Groening was speaking of really being free of all problems. Other times he would use the word salvation, though not in the normal sense of the word, to literally be freed from all problems. And here he points out the path to us to strive to maintain this inner peace, this inner connection under all circumstances. You know, on any spiritual path, people start off sitting on the meditation cushion or sitting in a chair meditating, but then at a certain point, then there's desire to meditate while going through your day, doing your activities. And then at a certain point, becomes the desire to maintain this divine connection under all circumstances, where it becomes the number one priority. So let's reflect on all this. The idea that not only, for some, it was news to me when someone said to me, it's possible to be at peace always. That was news to me. The reason why that's possible is because our inner peace does not depend on our outer circumstances. That's really one of the deepest spiritual truths in the world. Now, to live that's the whole journey right there, friends. So let's spend a little time taking more of this good energy in, reflecting on all this. What's our priority for the divine connection, for inner peace? Observing the body, So there's a really interesting spiritual quote I've heard, and I can't find the source of it. The quote is this: "Once you've had one taste of God, nothing else will do." And that may not be the exact quote. If someone has the exact quote, please do post it. So the idea being, and this really touches my own experience, is that once we've experienced this divine heavenly peace, this connection with the divine, the Bible calls it the peace that passes all understanding. This, in a sense, you could say unconditional happiness. So much of our life is seeking conditional happiness. Like, oh, I go, I go on the roller coaster and I feel happy. Or, oh, I eat this meal and then I feel happy from the meal. Or, oh, I get this relationship and then I get happiness from that. Spiritual peace, on the other hand, or spiritual happiness is unconditional. The only condition is you just be connected to God. And it's not quite addictive, but there is this sense, and it's very much my experience, that when I feel disconnected from God, I actually feel sad now. I feel like something's missing, and something is missing. Because Bruno Groening, like many great mystics, pointed out, we're designed to be connected to God. It's not just natural. It's you could say it's natural for human beings to breathe, but that doesn't really cut it. It's fundamental for human beings to breathe. And Bruno Groening, like so many other mystics, said it's fundamental for us to be connected to God, that we need it. The thing is if you go even a 30 seconds without air, you get very instant feedback. Oh, I need air. But this spiritual need we have is a lot more subtle. People, myself included, we're able to distract ourselves from that need with other things. But one day I realized that every moment of suffering in my life came from not feeling connected to God. That every time I was really suffering, really unwell, it really had one cause: not being connected to God. In human terms, you can think of someone who can't bear to be apart from their um, beloved partner or husband or wife for even a day. It's just too painful. That's just an analogy, but my understanding is our soul cannot, it's just very painful to be disconnected from God for even a second. But don't take my word for it, or Bruno Groening's word, or these other mystics. Find out for yourself. Is connection to God truly our deepest, deepest need? So let's spend a little more time doing that. Yearning for the divine connection. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining in. And, I like to think in analogies that helps me to understand spiritual truths. For example, if there's one thing that you do that then just sets your day in the right motion, um, whether, for many people it's exercise, to start off the day with exercising, um, to start off the day with a healthy breakfast, like what's that one thing that's when you have it, life just goes so much better. And then to contemplate. Now, of course, that one thing doesn't make your life perfect. I have a lot of friends who, for them, it's dancing. They dance every day, and that just really makes their life significantly better. Of course, it doesn't make their life perfect. It doesn't solve all their problems, and it just fundamentally makes things a lot better. Well, according to Bruno Groening, it's absolutely my experience that when I put God first and connect to God to the best of my ability throughout the day, my day is just fundamentally different. And unlike an activity like dancing or exercise, um, which are good, not knocking them, I love both, I do both. um, you can strive and be connected to God all day long. Bruno Groening said God has everything that we need. If that's true, and I'm utterly convinced it is, then we need to seek God with all our heart, mind, and soul. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. And let's close with just a few minutes of really asking for any life circumstances we need help with. Let's ask for anyone near and dear to us. Let's ask for Mother Earth, the earth itself, and for every living thing, every living being on this earth. Let's stand in the faith and trust that all problems, all evil will be removed from this earth. And let's ask to be connected to God more and more and to be guided as we go through our day. How can we contribute? How can we enrich? How can we serve life? How can we shine? Thank you so much for joining in. Take care. Much, much love and much gratitude to everyone who joined live and everyone who watched this video.